Oh shit! It said error. So you're live. Hey everybody, how you doing, Rick?
I'm doing fantastic. Namaste, Andrew.
Cool. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
Let's see. We got Jack here already. Good to see you, Jack. He does some great AI art in the group, AI art and digital art group. I see other people are here. So welcome everybody. Let us know where you're watching from. Don't be shy. These
This is
artists
going to
are
be
all
so much
shy. They
fun.
just want to do their art.
Yeah, right?
So, but yeah, let us know where you're watching from. And while people are coming in, maybe I'll have Rick introduce himself and talk about what we're going over today. Rick?
Okay. Well, I'm Rick McCawley, and long story short is I'm currently a professor, senior professor of graphic design at Broward College in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. In my life, I've traveled the world. I've been a photojournalist for the Miami Herald, lived in Japan and Athens, Greece. When I worked for the Miami Herald, I did work there as a staff photographer for 15 years, photographed the Tosha and space shuttle launches and the Pope and the president and Cuban boat lifts and riots and all kinds of fun stuff. Leaving there, I started consulting and set up educational institutions at Barry University, International Fine Arts College, and other places, and Broward College included. And that's where I've been teaching for a while. And now I've spent the last 2 years, like I'm sure a lot of you have, since I've been an image maker for 50 years professionally. Now I get to a point where I get a chance to do this for fun and also for profit. Obviously, I still teach, and I'm teaching AI and infusing that in every one of my classes. And I just got a new job at Broward College to run the AI evangelist program, basically,
Nice.
to get all the professors, no matter what the profession. So we have educators that are teaching law enforcement, nursing, architecture. And I've been working with all of them, not just for generative AI, although we are doing image making in architecture and other departments as well. But for
You good?
yeah, sorry,
Okay.
my audio switched out for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it for educators to help them using ChatGPT and other tools, and now Microsoft with their Copilot, that's going to be rolling out to educators. So
Cool.
basically, to expand and multiply everybody's skill set using these new artificial intelligence tools, which are changing everything. And that brings us to here, which is we're going to talk about image making and what are the different ways of doing it and some creative strategies that you might find great use for. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
And a quick question before we begin. Um, it does seem like Microsoft is putting a lot of energy into this. I mean, they got, I think you said ChatGPT is connected to Microsoft. They have the DALL-E for the
Yeah,
at
I
least
think the
Bing
thing
image
that
creator.
that everybody needs to understand is OpenAI created DALL-E and ChatGPT, okay? So they were a nonprofit scientific organization, but they needed huge funding. Guess what? Then Microsoft comes in and buys up 49% of the shares. And so they have controlling interest. So
Sure.
ChatGPT is available. In fact, we're going to talk about exactly this for you image makers.
Cool.
In the Bing app on your phone for free is DALL-E built in. They call it Image Creator or Design, whatever it's
Yeah,
called, Copilot. Yeah, they
they're
got new
pushing
names
their
for it now,
they're
right?
pushing their design app now, which is
Yes,
similar to Adobe Express too.
but it's the same DALL-E. And then in exchange, they use their program Edge and their browser experience to feed information over to OpenAI. And so
Cool.
within ChatGPT, you can also use DALL-E as well, using the search capability in ChatGPT to be able to use everything and the internet. So it's a cooperative of
Excellent.
a private and a nonprofit together.
Great.
And then
So
you've got
did
Adobe doing their thing, and then you've got a huge,
Sure.
uh,
And did you wanna share your, slides? Show us some,
yeah, yeah. Let me switch on over to that. So let me get right to my PowerPoint here. So this is me, just to give you an idea. Let me get it full screen.
that looks great.
Can y'all see it there? All right. So there's my Bitly link if you want to do a QR code thing. I'm going to be making this PowerPoint presentation available to all of you via a link at the bottom of the video once it's archived and on Drew's website, YouTube site.
Yep.
as well as on all the social medias that we all share together. So what's new in AI art? That's kind of the question. And this is where this conversation is jumping to. First, we're going to go over what Adobe Firefly and Adobe products in general, Photoshop and the rest of the generative tools. Now, Adobe is investing AI into Adobe Premiere, Adobe 3D Substance, and every single application. They have their own large language model that they've used to train their image making processing and capabilities. And they're starting to advance into all new areas. And we'll talk about that today. The second thing we're going to talk about is this relationship between Microsoft and ChatGPT, or OpenAI, the company itself. You may have seen a couple of things about them in news recently. And the fact that OpenAI created DALL-E, which is an in-between place. And we'll figure out, well, how do you go use Firefly, and how do you go use Photoshop, and then how do you go use DALL-E, which is the product that we're going to talk about second. The third product we're going to talk about, of course, is Midjourney. Legendarily, this private company owned by David Hogue. In fact, if you get a chance, get on Discord and listen to him every Wednesday for 4 hours. And I'm not making this up. He talks about everything. He's literally a NASA scientist, and just a mover and shaker in the world of all of this.
Right.
So we're going to start with a conversation about Firefly and here's how you can get access to it. So here's just a real simple test that I wanted to show off, that Firefly has this ability to change the look and feel, even if you prompt for one picture. So all of these are basically generative image making programs. You type words and you get results. Adobe is very natural language in the way that it does it. And one of the things you can do is use the reference libraries. Or you can actually use the techniques and styles you see down here at the bottom, like bokeh effect or layered paper or synthwave. But
Right.
you can actually upload your own picture. So it could be a picture of a surreal DALL-E-esque kind of image, and then it will render the image in different looks and feels. So you can either look at the techniques that are down at the bottom, which are your basic artistic techniques that you might know of already, synthwave or steampunk or bokeh effect or layered paper cut. Or you can upload your own picture and use that as a way to influence
Right.
what the image looks like, which is pretty cool. Here's an example. It also has a section that's brand new, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey, what's brand new to all this, right? You can actually set the depth of field. So you get this beautiful bokeh for the picture on the top right, or the angle of view, wide angle, telephoto. So now this changes everything, right? We have some controls over what the image looks like at the end. And then we've got OpenAI, which is also DALL-E, and you have multiple ways to access that. These are just some images I've made in the last, and I use the word images. It's not a photograph. I'm sorry if you want to call it a synth graphic or something like that. That's fine. And I'm doing it both on my phone, as you can see here. So this is using Bing. You can download it on your phone for free, and it's called Designer. And this is the app you're looking for on your phone. In just a little bit, I've got my phone hooked up here so we can see what it really looks like to use it this way. And you enter a prompt. About 77 words, I think, is the limit. So there is a limit to how long your prompts can be. And you don't have to enter anything but just text. Or you can actually create, these are the images all created within the last month on using DALL-E. DALL-E 3 was released about a couple of months back, and it all of a sudden is rivaling Midjourney in quality. I think Midjourney still is the king of quality, but right now, as far as cohesion, which means that when you ask for something, you actually get it, DALL-E is the king of the hill at the point. You can see these are very complex, multi-faceted images that require a lot of prompting skill. So they're quite difficult to create, and the prompts have to be able to be understood by the engine that does it. And OpenAI is the biggest, largest large language model there is on the planet. And it was trained both on images and on text. So that's why it's so good at doing this.
Cool.
And now, if you want to go to the pro level, $20 a month, I think this is worth your money and time. Not only do you get ChatGPT Pro, which allows you to search the internet and do all kinds of things, but you can actually use it to generate your prompts. You literally sit there and tell them what you want. So my idea, there's this kind of a joke in the industry of artificial intelligence. AGI will be achieved, right? So AGI means artificial general intelligence. That means that AI will be smarter than any human being on the planet at that point. The expectation is this might happen in the next 2 years. So literally every doctor, nurse, every scientist, everybody basically will pale in comparison if given a side-by-side test against AI. AI has already beat the best chess player, Kasparov, also beat the best Go player. And now it's moving on to basically taking the intellect is there. But
Taking over the world.
yeah, but here's the cool thing about it. It's about your humanity and it's a Tesla sitting in your driveway right now, but it goes nowhere unless you get in it and you decide where you
Right.
want to go. And then if you drive drunk, well, that's your fault, right? And if you drive and you go do something and you change the world, then that's also not AI's fault. It's us. I
Sure.
think in the whole scheme of things, I want you to take advantage of this tool that multiplies whatever your skill is. Mine is image making, obviously, right? And so I
Sure.
wanted to make the OG AGI t-shirt and kind of thing. So I started with this, and this is the prompt that I actually used that it helped me develop. That means Chat GPT. I've got it on my phone. I'll demonstrate it. I click the microphone. I talk to it. It can talk back. Absolutely perfect language. It can help you with your troubles with your girlfriend, whatever you got going on, it can help you. So I ended up generating these two different images. I concentrated on getting the original OG, and then I put them all together. And this is the original black and white. You can see it didn't quite do the things I wanted to do in the first or the second picture, but putting it together and a little bit of Photoshop, bang, you got it, right? So that's my now working method and how I'm going to be going forward. Now, at the same time, this is the OG, right? So it started in May of last 2022. We're almost through this year. So less than a year and a half ago, Midjourney got started, and the stuff you got out of it was nonsense. These are 3 images I made just the other day, just to show you the quality is beyond photographic. It literally has gotten to a point where these are absolutely saleable items. And yes, you can sell them into Adobe stock and other places as well. This is an image, and I've retouched it only slightly. I expanded the frame, so the flowers on the right and the leaves were expanded more, and to the left a little bit. And then I corrected a knee where the knee was kind of out of joint. She has the correct number of fingers. Everything else is fine. I corrected a little bit of the lips. Everything else was right out of Midjourney. So the quality. So during my lifetime, actually during the lifetime of Midjourney, I started October 2022. I've generated so far 75,000 images,
Oh,
and I have over 1,500 hours in the application actually hitting generate. So
nice.
that's not the amount of time, which is basically the last year for 40, 50 hours per week, to be honest with you. I'm up at 4 o'clock at night because I'm just so excited about this.
Cool.
And I really want to share it with the world because, as David says, this is a playground for the imagination, and he wants to see what people do with it. This is the book that I've done. And if you ever get to be part of one of my workshops, this I'll give you for free. This was generated in version 4, and now we're on version 6. So all of these prompts don't quite work the same, and we'll talk about that later. Some of the cool things about 5.2, the previous version before 6 came out just this last week, by the way, was outpainting and inpainting. And that will be added to 6, and we'll see what that looks like in just a minute. But I was able to generate the image you see in the center and then keep moving and expanding the frame right and left and right and left and right and left until I ended up with all of this. And then here's another example. So the picture was of a woman with this particular car, and then I just kept expanding the scene to the right and left, setting the scene for what it is. I've been using it in graphic design. This is, a little, I haven't finished. I'm going to do the Ford truck logo and some other things and fix the tire. And kick it around. But these are generated. You can see the variety of types of images you could create in Midjourney are quite extraordinary. You could, in 5.2, hit / describe and go in and actually create images like this, where the picture on the left is the image I uploaded, a actual statue by a friend of mine who's getting her master's degree in sculpture. And it then presents you with the prompts, and I ran the prompts, and here you go. This is what it actually produced.
Cool.
There's a couple of places I would highly recommend if you want to learn about art in general, on either Instagram or on the website, midlibrary.io. What they basically do on Instagram, you can see that they take this word, paper quilling is the actual prime word of this case, and they run it through cyberpunk character. You see that number 2 here on the right, and then tech genius teenage girl, the bottom left, cute Mancoon cat, and then bioarchitecture. So with one word, they then just add these other words and they generate these. So if you're going to use Midjourney, go there and not only learn about how to prompt, but go there and start to learn about art and art styles. So you know what a chiaroscuro is, or what a wide angle lens will do, or bokeh is. It's a great place to kind of just educate yourself. And I always love when people get educated about what art is and why it is. And I think that's beautiful. I'm just going to give you a short little glimpse of a book I'm working on. I've been using DALL-E recently to complete this book, but it's about the imagination. And my daughter, just a beautiful 27-year-old woman today, is having a great life. And we were little, my wife and I always read every single night to our kids, and it was about sparking their imaginations. So we read Harry Potter when it was an appropriate age for them, and Lord of the Rings, we read it all to them, that kind of thing. But I feel like the imagination is the thing that we do want to get back in touch with. And I think that's what all of these applications do, is they let anybody that has just a little bit of time and energy, that wants to make beautiful art to make the world more interesting, that want to tell the stories. I want you to use your imagination. And your imagination, as this book goes, can cause fears for you. So if she fears, and this is my daughter here on the left, when she was younger, she was a flower girl for a wedding. And this is the prompt that I used to start to generate the character. And I like the one on the right, and that's kind of the look. Still working on character generation. So I created this in DALL-E, using ChatGPT to prompt my way through. This is from Midjourney in the 3.0 days. And this is DALL-E currently, using ChatGPT to develop it. But I can use the same prompts that I do in ChatGPT. So the idea is, she goes to sleep and she has a monster in her closet she's scared of. She goes through a portal, the one you saw earlier, and with her cat, and the cat says, "Oh, there's a monster over there." She says, "Oh no, let's go back to bed. Let's go back to bed." And the cat says, "No, he's alone and he's crying." "Why is he crying?" says the little girl. "Well, because it's his birthday and he has no friends." So she imagines a cake and solves the problem. The idea is that no matter what problems we have in the world, there are ways to solve it with our imagination. And the one thing that AI does not have is even the beginnings of an imagination. So they don't want to, they're afraid of the dark. Every human is, right, when they're young. And then the way to do that is paint with bioluminescent animals and fireflies. Or if you're fear of heights, take your kitty with you and go fly and see the city from a bird's eye view. So this story is about, you're afraid of performing at a recital. Well, what if all stars came out of your mouth every time you sang and went up to the sky? So what if you had thunderstorms, but you were the conductor of that fearful moment, and you got to decide when the lightning strike and when the rain falls and when the symphony calls? And if you're scared of going underwater, imagine, imagine, imagine. So my word is imagine. And it's really beautiful, I think, that Midjourney starts with the word imagine as well. And that's kind of what I wanted to show you in PowerPoint. Drew, let's go back and see if there's any questions about this.
Hey, great stuff. Yeah.
Thank
Now
you.
I want to see you jump in. You got me all excited here. Someone says we'll have to look into ChatGPT. And John says friend John Williams is here. He says, I just downloaded the Bing app and right away I successfully got it to create a JavaScript that generates random insults.
Right? Now, here's the kind of secret sauce that you need to know about that, and we'll get that to it in just a minute. But hey, John, remind me to go back over that in just a minute. Okay, so you're sharing my screen again?
I will now. Yes.
Okay.
There we are. Okay. So here we are in Firefly.
Okay. So we're going to go on across, but I want you to understand what Firefly actually is first. It is their test kitchen. It's the test labs for all the Adobe products. You'll notice that some of the things are here text to image, which is what we're going to talk about today, but also generative fill, when you can go in and erase something and then fill it back in. Now, these are all things that are in Photoshop, and they're also in Photoshop and generating stuff, right? The text effects is something that's probably only going to be here, but it's also in Adobe Express,
Yep.
also for free. So realize I'm at firefly.adobe.com and I'm going in here. Now I'm signed in, so I can actually start to generate images as I'm signed in for free. All of you get to do this today. And, it will be free for you in Adobe Express, which also has these same tools available. To see what's coming next, you have Illustrator has generative recolor working, right? And so you can do that now. You can recolor a vector graphic. You can create text to templates, which will make you a birthday. If you ever used Canva before, start using Adobe Express. It's the Swiss Army knife of tools. It does everything a graphic designer needs to do, including posting to social media and generating images, etc. Now,
And
Adobe,
Rick,
yeah,
did you want to also talk about what's coming, I believe, in January that Stephen touched upon, up to a certain number of generations that will have
yes.
like
So
tokens or
for free, you get, I think it's 100.
or 1,000. It depends on your plan. So it
Yeah.
depends on which plan you have.
So if you're doing it for free, you're going to be limited in how many generations you can make. And the same way with Bing, by the way. So every day I wait for Bing to reset. You get 15 credits for free every 24 hours, I think it is.
Right.
So you can't really get much done. That's why I've opted for Chat GPT. Plus, Bing on your phone has other limitations we'll talk about in a minute. But if you get the idea, so here's what Firefly has been doing. This is just a few months ago. That's what Firefly 1 did. In October, Firefly 2 comes out, and this is what it does now. And it does the same sort of thing, as you can see, for food pictures and for sci-fi scenes and for portraits of people. So you can see it's getting better and better. In the future, there's more and more coming. In fact, try to review the pictures and rate them, because that improves the quality. The greatest thing about Adobe is they've been doing this legally and making sure they own the rights to generate images based upon others' images. Technically speaking, that's not a copyrightable offense. And I think the courts will kind of belie that idea. Coming soon is going to be 3D capability and also the ability to sketch to image, which is, you'll see if you start looking at AI generation, that's the latest things. Pika Labs and others, you actually draw just a stick figure like you see on the left here, and live it'll make 3D characters with a prompt that you put at the bottom. When you start looking into this, you're going to see all kinds of stuff
I
out
think
there.
Leonardo's had that for a bit, the sketch.
Yeah, Pika, Leonardo. So here we are in Firefly, and so there's a couple things I wanted to show you. So this is one of the things. So if you go to Firefly and you come up here to the top and you just go into this area, these are illustrations that people have already created. So you don't have to start from scratch. You like this picture, you just come right here, and then it puts that picture in there and it tells you what the prompt is. So the biggest thing you can do, and do this for all of the applications, look what has already been created by other people. Study how the prompts work. Look at what style is being used.
Right.
Is there, and here's the big things over to the right. So I actually kind of like this. And if you like this picture, then of course you come up here and you can download it and it's yours. It's going to be embedded so that everybody knows this is created with a generative image making program. That's part of the Adobe Authenticity Initiative, which is really important when it comes to the political system and other things. So that's another story for another time. But the two things I want you to think about is, over here, it has a reference library. And so if I want to take this image and I want to have it use this style reference, I'm going to generate the same image, but using this 3D sort of style instead. What it's doing is it's reading the stylistic characteristics of this 3D thing, and now it's generating an image based on that. Let's say that we'd like to have it more like this. So this I think is, from an artist point of view, you've got now control to decide what the style of the image generated looks like. And you can see it's pretty darn quick. Most image generators about 1 minute. Resolution is about megabyte or two, depending on the image thing. And you can see here, so now we take this same idea and I could go to the reference library, but I could also upload an image of my choice, or I can pick a movement that you see here. So there are many, many, if all of them here, Art Deco, Art Nouveau. So let's do a cubism. Let's do a cubism version. I'm going to take off. Let me just go ahead and generate this real quick. I'm going to go on over just one tab, and I changed it to a Pomeranian. Now, there's some things you're going to notice. Obviously, the human hand thing, a little bit weird here. If you like stuff, I actually kind of like that weirdness, so I'm going to love that. Give it some love. If you give feedback, you're helping generate better images for the next people that come and use this. And then if we get to this image, there's some other things we can do. We can change the color and tone to any of these choices here. We can go in and change the lighting. So we've got low lighting, long exposure. Ooh, let's check out long exposure. Maybe we try that. You can actually stack these things on top of one another. So
Rick,
yeah,
take a question.
Yeah, sure.
It's from our friend John.
Okay.
So John says, Rick, I work in video a lot, and I am excited about what is in store this upcoming year. Can you speak to any innovations coming around the corner? So,
oh my goodness, I've been working with Premiere extensively. There's about a dozen. If you look on YouTube for the 7 top AI things in Premiere, certainly they're going to have generative expand, just like you have in Photoshop. In fact, if you have Photoshop, you can bring your video in and expand the frame. So you can take a horizontal video and then make it fit for your Instagram account in a vertical format if you need to, with Photoshop itself. If as long as during the filming, the vertical part, and then also I've been editing using the text that's generated. So it does transcriptions of your videos live. It assigns people to it, and then you can copy and paste and edit your video based on the words. That means if there were pauses, you literally say, select all pauses, all empty spaces, hit delete. And the video is chopped up, and in seconds, you've edited the entire video.
And then in Premiere, yeah.
Yeah, you can copy and paste from one section. So in the beginning of the video, they said something, but hey, I want to save that for the end. So I could take this video that's recorded here, right? And I could chop it up. So all the questions came at the end in a fell swoop, right?
Cool.
By just copying, pasting text like I would a Word document, which is pretty cool, right? So, you've got that ability. You saw what I just did, right? So that's awesome. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm going to download that puppy. Right. And then I'm going to go down. And so that's wide angle. Then one more thing, and this is pretty awesome. I can set the aperture, the shutter speed, and the field of view. So I'm going to go to a 300 millimeter lens.
And just to let people know, this is under advanced at the bottom on the right panel, photo settings in Adobe Firefly, which you can get at firefly.adobe.com.
Yeah. In fact, let me go to landscape here, and I'm going to stay in photo. And then I'm going to take off long exposure. Oh yeah, leave on long exposure. Why not? And then I'm going to set my aperture to a narrow depth of field. So all this is just, I'm going down through the list of options, So I start up here, picking the aspect ratio, go down to the content type that I want. The visual intensity means that how it's going to pay attention to this string of prompts. So you see a Pomeranian wearing glasses, conducting business with a laptop and a cell phone. Now, it got all the hands right except for the one hand where this holding the phone. I guess it figured out Pomeranian can't hold a phone. So, but this is stacked up photo and long time exposure and then wide angle. So now I'm going to change it one time here, and I'm going to go down to fast shutter speed, aperture, right? So let me clear the styles here. And I'm going to go to fast shutter speed, Field of view. Okay, so let's go ahead and generate here. So I've switched it also to a little bit of a landscape or square mode so you can see them quicker. And I'm going to step on over for just a second. Oh, there we go. So the long lens with a shallow depth of field gave the background out of focus, right? So
The
that combination gives me that different look.
the
If I
bottom
go,
right one, if you can go back,
yeah,
click on that for larger view, has these weird, it's like it's got the dog's paw, but then it's got like a woman's fingernails with the bright.
yeah, well, the Pomeranian's gotta look good, you know? We actually had a Pomeranian named Miko, that's why I chose the Pomeranian here. But, yeah, you can see how quickly look at this guy.
That's
I
nice.
love
Yeah.
this, right? So that's a cubist. So you can learn about art at the same time. If you didn't know about cubism, go over to midlibrary.io and check them out because then you're gonna learn a bunch, right? So they have the whole history of art right there, every photographer ever mentioned. So it's kind of a cool thing because you are
Sure.
standing on the shoulders of all knowledge at your fingertips in your phone. You can, and I have successfully run Firefly right within. Oh, here's a nice little. So that's an artistic
Detailing
acrylic
mode.
and oil painting style, right? So that's been added to this, and look what a difference that made. That, of course, is with the previous dog, and only one has the actual phone, which I'm just going to have to keep that. I'm going to sit here and make stuff all day. All
Wow.
right, are we ready to switch over?
Sure.
Okay. Is there any questions about this
Yeah.
whole
Let's
thing?
any questions, people?
And I could upload a picture here. Let me take this picture that I used. Oh, that's too big. Actually, you can upload a pretty good sized
Should
picture.
I share the screen now then?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. No problem.
So you can upload a picture. So I've just picked the picture that you saw earlier of this red-haired woman. So it's going to use that as a reference as it generates the next image. Let's see what that does. We're going to come back to that in just a second because this might take a second. Maybe not. I don't know. This thing's been running like mad fast these days. So, oh my goodness. So basically,
Yes, more
you'll see the
realistic.
picture again later, but that's the picture of the woman on the beach that's been used as the reference image.
So it
And
took
there
the
it is
whole
right there.
kind of color composition, it looks like.
Yeah. So it took the light streaks coming in from the side. In fact, guess what? You get to learn how to be a graphic designer and an artist right here, right? Because you get to try these things out. And if you never wanted to spend time making a watercolor painting of your dog, then go ahead and just do this. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Let's let it cook and we'll go over to DALL-E. All right, here we go. Okay, so OpenAI is the place. OpenAI.com. You can go
So
check out.
so wanted to give you a quick compliment already. We got
Thank you.
Facebook user says, "Really enjoying this, remotivated to get back to creating after the holidays."
Yeah, right.
My friend Steven says that this video is going to warrant a replay to get all of the info again. Yeah, it's
Oh
pretty
yeah, it's
power
packed
packed.
full of nuts. And also there'll be a downloadable PDF when we do archive this everywhere it's going to be. So that's going to follow with it. Please feel free to share. My whole thing is, I've got everything I could want in life. I just want to share with the world. I want to do good. So namaste is my thing, right? I bow to the divine in all of us, in the stardust that we're made of, right? So if I can do anything good, especially to spark people's imagination.
Now,
I
can
want
I
you
ask
to
a quick
be
question before we jump into DALL-E
yeah,
3 here?
yeah.
So since you're going directly to OpenAI, well, go back to that tab.
Oh, okay.
DALL-E, yeah. So
Yep.
since you're going directly to openai.com/DALL-E 3,
Yeah.
um,
Dolly-E-3. Yep.
is this a way that you can create images with DALL-E 3 connected to Microsoft for free for those 15 points, or is this
No,
where you have to be connected to ChatGPT
this is
or I think
Dolly version ChatGPT. So you see over here on the right, it says try ChatGPT. So it's going to get you into ChatGPT, and then you're going to be generating from Dolly in there. So
right.
Dolly does really work well on words. It was better at that. Now, Midjourney is as good, if not a little bit better, actually. But it's very prompt coherent. So this explains it. So I would go here just to look at this little bit, but it actually acted in the prompt and it said a young woman haggling with a grumpy old vendor, a tall, sophisticated man, a noteworthy mustache, and a steampunk telephone. It has all of those elements. That is the holy grail of every AI tool, is to be able to take complex scenes like this and get every part of it right. So that's something you're going to be looking for, is prompt coherence. Right now, Midjourney stinks at prompt coherence. All of a sudden, I made a Christmas tree out of sharks, and it totally flubbed it. Not a single shark in the picture. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But so that's the big thing that's happening right now. Now, Midjourney is going from a brand new model. The new one they created, when you'll see, is off the hook, right? But DALL-E right now, as far as prompt coherence, is the best that there is. And you can watch this little video here. I'm not sure if this is going to play, but basically, here's what you do in ChatGPT.
You
And
don't
this is
hear
a,
the sound so much, but it looks great. You can see it all. Yeah. There we go.
so this is a Microsoft video, basically, or ChatGPT video. So you can make a storybook for your children, just like I'm doing, right? So, and you just talk to it. Can you show me Larry being kind-hearted, right? I mean, how beautiful. So it's using natural language. So it's going beyond make a sticker, bedtime story. So ChatGPT, really worth your time for your family. No matter what you do, it's going to help you be a better, bigger, wonderful person.
My friend Suzanne says, hedges, yay.
Hedges, yeah. And it goes on and on.
Hedgehog.
And it's just a beautiful thing. And that's what ChatGPT for. So it's worth spending the $20.
I
Okay.
think that's a little pricey though. I wish it was like 10. I'd be willing to
Yeah, you
try
know,
for 10.
it'll come down, but you're really basically, I use it 24/7. So I've written poetry. I'm writing 3 novels at the moment. I'm writing my children's
See,
book.
but you're part of the AI now. You're like in the Matrix.
Well, yeah, but come join me. It's fun in here. The water's warm, I swear. Look at what I'm doing. This is the word off to the side, right? So this is ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you basically the process. So in
Sure.
ChatGPT, you start off by saying, okay, so let me go back up to the top of the conversation. I asked for, this is literally on my phone. I did all of this. So right now I'm looking at all my conversation. So an AI Odyssey quest for meetings. So I'm writing this for a presentation I'm doing to professors, medicine advancements. Here's all the links to all the information about medical advancements and Alzheimer's drugs and cancer that AI has been pivotal in solving. And then I came in over here and, I started to do this. I wanted the shirt to say original OG AGI. And that's
So quick question. When
yeah.
when you're doing this, it looks like you just typed in rap artist wearing gold chain, blah blah. You don't have to say create an image of,
Nope. In fact, what you see here, and if you see up at the top here, you've got ChatGPT.
right?
That's where you get where I do all my
Oh, so you click DALL-E to get
right.
to the image.
And then you've got DALL-E. That's where we are now.
Okay, great.
When you're in DALL-E, then you just talk to it, and it knows what it's doing in there is you're creating images.
Sure.
Okay.
Cool.
So then it makes this image, not quite what I want. If I'm on a desktop, I can hit this info and it tells you the prompt. You copy this over. You can go over to Discord, Midjourney, whatever you want. In fact, just for fun, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and prompt this message in here. I'm going to do / I don't want to mess up the process here, but this is too fun to do.
What are you in Discord? Is that Discord?
Yeah, that's Discord. So I just switched over to my server, and now it's going to generate that. We'll come back and take a look at what it did. So by having a conversation, it created that. So I said, hey, I'd like for it to be more photorealistic, like a rap star wearing an AGI. If you put in parentheses, you're going to get more or less the letters you're looking for.
Right.
Case matters, uppercase, lowercase. So do it like that. And then OG, I wanted to be on the medallion. There we go. AGG, sort of, So I kept trying to do it. Then I uploaded some more pictures to give it some reference points. And I did it again. And then I said, let's forget that. Let's just use a black shirt, and we're going to create a blingy shirt with diamonds on it, because that's what I really wanted. So this is an ongoing conversation where it was too comic for me. I wanted photorealism. I wanted to be in New York. So I just had that conversation. So the conversation leads to this. and then it leads to this, and then it leads to this, and then it keeps on going, and then I end up with, oh, this was for a different project.
Can you
Yes,
take can you take a quick question?
yeah.
So Ken asks, is it true we lose copyrights to our images if we edit with AI?
No, absolutely not. The Supreme Court, I'm sorry, the Copyright Office ruling so far is anything directly generated out of an AI product, meaning Midjourney, DALL-E, etc., Firefly, is not copyrightable because it does not demonstrate enough of the hand of a human to give them rights to have ownership of it. Meaning to make something artistic yours so that you can protect it, like you have to sing a song, you have to write music, you have to execute your ideas. An idea is not copyrightable, and all that AI in a prompt is an idea.
But
So
but if you take, say, this image and then you bring it into Photoshop and you color grade it and you even add some
yes,
other elements,
yeah,
then technically you could copyright it, correct?
yeah, yes, exactly. So the landmark case was actually by a woman who's now working for Adobe, by the way. And I met her about a year ago when she was getting involved in this lawsuit because she had sent in a single Mid-Journey image. And you can see this is the prompt it created, not me.
Mhm.
So generating prompts, this is the way to go. Now, these prompts don't happen to work over in fact, I can show you what happened to that. This is that same prompt in Midjourney. Now, is that pretty cool? I think so, but it's nothing at all. There's no OG, there's no nothing else that I asked for.
Yeah,
And if I
very
take a
different.
look at this, that's cool looking. It looks like a famous rapper to me, but the AGI and the OG ain't there. So right now, and this is version 6. If I were to go back and put in V5.2, it probably would work better. It's more coherent.
Sure.
But this is just beta. Just I don't want to get ahead of myself with the Mid-Journey conversation. But okay, so the final thing is the image itself was first accepted and copyrighted. Then the Copyright Office said, "How was this generated?" Because someone had told them that it was AI, and they said, "Oh no." They looked at it. They spent a lot of time. They spent 2 months trying to decide this. And her lawyers got together, and I talked to her lawyers because I had some ideas about how to defend this because of the way images are generated. Every one is different than the other one. Every single time you put the same words in, it's going to be different. It's an interpretation engine as well, right? And it's not copying anybody's work. It diffuses every image. It's like you looking at a picture and seeing Pablo Picasso's style and then going out and make an exact replica. Could you do that? Yes, you could. And guess what? If that was copyrightable and you put it on a t-shirt and sold it, you would be sued because of your actions, not because of the AI. So feel free to go ahead and prompt Superman and Batman and whatever else that is intellectual property all you want. Make a greeting card for your kid or put it on the top of your cake. And actually, if you put it on top of your cake, that's a violation because Publix won't print that because they realize that's intellectual property. So we really have to understand what intellectual property is. That means the blood, sweat, and tear of a human being went into making something that they have value in, that they own. And the Copyright Office is basically saying, we are certifying your ownership. In order to do that, you can't just, so right now I can go into Midjourney or any of these applications. And like I did in Firefly, I picked up that picture of a dog on a phone and I could take that, put it on a t-shirt and nobody could sue me. Even the person that created it originally, because that is free and open. So it's a free and open playground, right? But then, like I did with this picture, I took that medallion, I put it on a shirt, and then I changed the letter forms in Photoshop. It took me about 5 hours to produce the image I wanted to make for me.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
If you are when you compare the images from going to, Bing image creator or designer or whatever they call it now,
Mhm.
versus coming here, chat.openai.com, and then going to DALL-E and creating an image. It looks like the images here are like higher quality and maybe even
Yes.
larger. So like if you were to
Yes.
download it, is it a larger
That's
pixel dimensions?
That's the perfect thing to say, exactly. So in Bing currently, using the designer application in there, let's just call it Bing, let's call it, DALL-E, right? Although it's hard to spell in a properly because it's DALLE dash uppercase E, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so DALL-E, let's call it, because they're both DALL-E. But what this ChatGPT has is two things. One, it can generate the conversation, the prompt, as you see here on the right. Number two is because it is the engine that creates it. It's also the engine that knows what it should look like. So you could have a very natural language conversation. And then the last and most important is currently Bing does not have anything but square format. Here, I can actually ask it as I did. 16 by 9 is my go-to format. So that's how I go through the process. So that's the big difference.
Sure.
Let me see if I've still got my phone popped up here. I'm going to switch over to my phone real quickly. There we go. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So here's where I've got my applications.
You better start checking your email. 1,785.
I know, right? Yeah, it's getting dangerous in here. So here's the Bing app across the bottom. I'm just going to pop that up. And so this is how you work in it. So you see at the bottom, you've got Copilot right down there, right?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
This is what I put in there. I'm going to have to highlight this.
This
That's
is
the
the
tech.
Bing app, or this is
the Bing app on my phone.
right.
Right. And I'll show you in a minute once I get here. So I could actually copy this. Now, here's how I work that you might want to do. If you've got a Macintosh computer, I copied right now from my phone. I could then go over to Midjourney and I could paste because my phone is connected to. So I just put in the same thing. Let's see what Midjourney will come. Let that cook and we'll come back in a minute. So I interactively work with my laptop, my desktop, and my phone. 99% of what I do is on my phone. So if I go here, you see I have my 15 credits there to the right. I'm going to regenerate this one more time. I've got to touch my phone here. That's why you're not seeing me do anything. Oh, I got to get off the.
Did you hit create?
There we go. Okay, creating. So if you do anything like you try to use Donald Trump or you try to use any famous person, especially if you defame on any of the applications, you're going to get kicked out. Adobe doesn't even know who Donald Trump is. It doesn't know who Salvador Dali or Shakespeare is, even though there's no risk of any problems there. So everybody's being hyper super safe because there's tons of lawsuits going on right now, as you can see.
But a question I have though is I thought I saw that the new Midjourney, version 6 can do really realistic,
yes,
well done logos.
Midjourney is the wild, wild west. It's not a corporation.
But my question is, it looks like it can do really good logos, say like Starbucks or Coca-Cola.
Yep.
But technically you can't really use those in your images. They're copyrighted from the company, correct?
Yeah. So the real simple way to remember all this, if somebody owns a property, Adobe, Disney, etc., they own that property and all the imaging and all the illustrations. So logos are trademarked, images and music and words are all copyrighted. So your newspaper, the New York Times, which is the lawsuit currently. So this is a technique I've been using a lot lately, is I'll see some pictures that I love, and then I'll feed it into ChatGPT on my phone. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's ChatGPT on my phone. So I found a picture, I kind of liked it, and I said, I want something like this. And then that's what it gave me. Let me go ahead and switch this to landscape mode. So it figured out what the style of this thing was.
That's a typical day in Florida, right?
Yeah, that's how it is in Florida, So, and then it did Texas, and I asked for Florida. I don't know what it was thinking, but whatever. So there you go. And then 2 images that I captured.
See, I was even joking that it was satirical essence of Florida, but that's exactly what you would tune into.
So the cool thing about ChatGPT is you learn how to prompt. You learn what makes sense, right? And I'm positive of this. Within a month, Midjourney is going to be off the hook better than anything that's ever existed in humankind. And we'll have video, in painting, out painting. Everything's coming back. Right now, they literally are a week old. So I had it do New York with the naked cowboy, but I had described him not as the word naked, just to give you an idea of how you have to go about, being safe and clever about things. Then I said, do Paris the same way. Then I had it Oktoberfest the same way. And it creates basically, it adds on to the prompt at the end. And then at one point I said, hey, can you give me a prompt and then fill in parentheses so that I can make any place I want. Here's New Orleans. So it's just taking the ideas from all these places. Oh, this was an image I found on Midjourney. Then I said I want a picture like it, and this is what it made for me.
So Tommy has a fun idea.
Yeah.
Tommy Anderson, he says we need an AI buddy that tells us to go ahead, you are safe. This image will not violate either copyrights or something similar.
Yeah, there is an ongoing issue because of a couple of things, right? The companies themselves, when they generate, they looked at all the images just like you and I do. So here's the metaphor I want you to think about in this whole process. When it looked at the internet, it looked at the internet the same way you did. It saw the Coca-Cola logo and said, oh, I could draw that. I could send it off to China and get a giant painting made out of it. But the thing is, a human being is the responsible party in this. They're the active agent. If your car, unless it's self-driving, doesn't go out and kill somebody because you were drunk, does it? You do. So let's all take responsibility for appreciating artist work,
right?
And not downloading MP3s.
But I do agree with Tommy, though. It would be nice to have like an AI buddy that comes along with the apps that tells you that you can't use that copyright. Like maybe you just innocently didn't know.
Well, so that is something that will be happening in the future, very near future. Adobe has a thing called the Authenticity Initiative, which will basically invisibly watermark so you can't actually take it out. It's embedded into the image with sort of an invisible digital ink, if you will. Every single image. In fact, Leica and other camera manufacturers are now making their cameras that way. So photojournalists, when they take a picture of somebody, you can be guaranteed that that picture is exactly what you imagine it is.
Now I want to jump into Midjourney soon.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go on over to there.
Pretty great stuff, though. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to first show you, this is a recent image that I made. You can see this is the middle of the road, Jimi Hendrix playing guitar in the rain, neon sign says lost. The other images did come up with that. The vibe everywhere you meet. Okay. So the style is raw, version 6. This is now Midjourney, the web version, which you can access today. What you see up here where it says imagine, that's coming soon. But guess what? Because I have more than 10,000 things, I have the alpha version. It's been said yesterday at Wednesday when, is it yesterday, Wednesday? Oh, Wednesday of this week, David Hoke said that it's going to be open to everybody by mid or late January. So everybody's going to have ability to come right up here and start to make prompts. So let's say that you like the looks of this image, you can use this prompt. And you can see it popped it right up here. If I go hit enter, it now is in the background generating this image as we speak. If I go to my Create Lab, it's now making that based on this. Now you'll notice when I'm done that all those images are not at all like that original image. In fact, here's something. This is a photorealistic picture of a marine Christmas tree with a gradient blue background. I mean, this is just so awfully wrong. This is the Christmas tree I was telling you about earlier. And this is what it did with it. Just a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. I'll have to go back and show you what I was able to do in other programs. Yeah,
I like the Christmas tree underwater, though.
Yeah, that's cool. But if you saw what the original picture is, I'm going to have to go find it just to show you how ridiculous this is. I'm going to come over to.
So I know that Adobe is focusing on the content authenticity
initiative. Yes.
But the one thing that I think is limiting it is the fact that you can't reference the name of an artist. Like with that Japanese illustration style, I noticed there was an artist name at the end. If you were to put that in a prompt in Adobe Firefly, it would completely ignore it or tell you that you can't use
so Adobe is on the extreme end of carefulness. Obviously, a large corporation that would be devastated if something, if multiple lawsuits came at them. Midjourney doesn't care. They're a private organization. They tell people to go whatever themselves, And I think there's some actual scientific stuff, and I'm more than happy to debate anybody scientifically about the way images are done. basically all images are looked at. It diffuses it down to a 10,000 point cloud for each image. So it knows what a shark looks like because it looked at thousands of them, but it's an aggregate shark. That means literally if it saw 10,000 pictures, it's going to take what sharkiness is and define it as zeros and ones. And that's how diffusion works.
And this is Mid-Journey here, right?
No, this is not Midjourney. This is DALL-E using ChatGPT,
I like DALL-E, yeah.
right? So I asked for, and so I've taken all of these prompts, and you'll see some of them later. But there's the one that I did, I gave that same prompt to Midjourney. It sucked at it.
So here's a good question.
Yeah.
If I say so myself. Tapping myself on the shoulder. But the thing is, if you were to take the same prompt and then you put it from Midjourney into DALL-E, have you ever gotten an image that is almost identical?
No.
They're always very different.
Recently, that disparity is starting to shift quite a bit. And here's the reason why. Midjourney's engine is not built upon the same engine that it uses to describe pictures.
Sure.
So it has its own proprietary system. OpenAI, the
Is
text,
Midjourney now this image? Or
this
DALL-E?
is all DALL-E. Everything you're seeing right here, this is entirely DALL-E. If it's square, that means it was made in Bing. If it's horizontal, then that means it was ChatGPT. So you can see it can actually, I've been working on a bunch of projects. There's the Spain one. Here's the
what would you say are the advantages or advancements of Midjourney version 6?
Photographic absolute freaking amazingness.
Okay. So here's
that
Midjourney now, right?
that you just cannot produce, right? You can't
Venus
get
on a
that.
half shell.
This you can't get. This you're never going to get. I'm a underwater and wildlife photographer of over 50 years. I've never made photographs of an egret even that nice. There's the floor. This is the Midjourney's version of that hotel picture, right? Down to the sweat on the forehead, and the sign is perfectly spelled. This one's pretty good. I'll go into Photoshop and tweak the heck out of this, and I'll take out that pole because it's ugly in the wires, etc. This is Midjourney. This is all Midjourney. So
it's pretty good, except for the double L's for blend.
Yeah, and that all of them are going to do that, right? So one of the things that Midjourney did do is they actually generated the images based on topography's outlines. So if you say cursive handwriting, it does a pretty decent job of giving you cursive handwriting. You can say, I didn't ask for this typeface. And I kept asking for camera angles, and it had no camera angle control. So in the future, the control of the perspectives that Adobe Firefly has spectacular, right? So wide angle telephoto, bokeh, every picture in version 6 is extremely shallow depth of field. Even when I say for wide angle, it doesn't do it. These are done in DALL-E, but then brought into Photoshop and then expanded. This is right out of Midjourney without the upscaling. The new upscaling produces a 13 megabyte file currently. So these are this is a composite of a bunch of Midjourney images. I mean, it's not a biologically correct octopus, and you notice a very shallow depth of field. But I mean, look at this.
My friend Jack says, I hate the mushy text ChatGPT DALL-E generates.
Yeah, so I've been working on this illustration for Alzheimer's to try to illustrate it. This is the best. This is a little bit of Photoshop, but to be honest with you, I haven't even touched the face yet. The rest is right out of there. Just expanded the area and did a little bit blending with multiple pictures that I found. So
that's Midjourney here. Go back with the woman and the
floating. Yeah, the woman up top is actually from ChatGPT. And then brought over to a Midjourney image at the bottom. So I'm starting to work with all three interactively, and I'm finding cartoonish. So here's the big deal, right? Firefly technically isn't great photographically. It isn't great, but it's great stylistically, and controls that they have are fantastic beyond the other two, right? So then you've got ChatGPT. What's it good at? Is keeping cohesive to the prompt you give it, giving you what you asked for. But it's always cartoony a little bit. If you use the ChatGPT version of it, The quality is even better and close to photographic, but nowhere near like this is from Mid Journey. That's a photographic ready to go into print National Geographic. I think I took off one extra hose there. That's all the retouching I did on this photograph.
So
And I've
so
been,
so here's a question I have that
yeah,
get your opinion on this.
sure.
So I subscribe to Leonardo too because I kind of like the
Yeah.
Leonardo, and that gives you some good options and different stylizations. Um, but the one thing I've noticed is very strange about Leonardo that I never see with Dolly Dolly 3
Hmm.
is when I put in a prompt and I could even say even this prompt and I put it in. Um, Sometimes I get just something similar to this, but other times I get these distortions. And I don't know what it is with Leonardo compared to other ones, but it'll have it so like one eye is higher than the other, or the face is distorted.
Yeah.
I did one. I tried to do some for Christmas, and I said, Santa surrounded by happy children, whatever, and it even like made Santa's face cloned onto some of the children's bodies. And I'm like, so in general, what is it that makes it so one time a prompt is very solid and direct, and another time the AI is kind of just open for it to be distorted?
Yeah. So imagine that you had three children. You send one to Harvard, you send one to community college, and it's what it's trained on and how it's trained. OpenAI is the largest large language model with the best everything that has ever been created by human beings on Earth. They're coming out with that 4.5 is out now, and point 5 is going to be trained on video. And here is like a mind blowing thing for you to think about. Oh yeah, check out this one. I kind of like that. So
Yeah.
I go here and I'm in heaven because I just love looking at images. And then, but here's what I do as an artist, and this is maybe a way to think about this: is well, what do you have to say? Are these images communicating the story of humanity? What's your use of it? Graphic designers actually are designing for other people, right? They're doing stuff. So here's, Woody. And then you could copy and paste this and rerun this prompt if you want to right now, since I'm in this version, right?
John says, "Did someone say video?"
Yes, and here's the big deal about it. Yeah, this is a really interesting point. So Elon Musk was asked when they're doing the training of the self-driving car, you know, why isn't it there yet? Why have you been promising it so many years? And basically, it's this: they tried lidar and X-rays, every kind of tool that was non-human to drive a car, and they ended up scrapping all of it and sticking with vision. So streets are designed for human beings with vision. So if you train the bot with vision, just like a human being, guess what? It becomes the best human visual driver on human made streets. So they literally took out 90% of the code that was going to go into these self-driving cars and replaced it. And they have some LiDAR and other stuff too, still, but it's just an augment the vision. The vision is 80% of what gets us through our streets every day. So by studying how humans work, these large language models are trained to do what you want. Now, what Midjourney has done is they open it up for everybody to go try it out. And then 13 million subscribers right now, every day, are going in here and liking this picture and liking that one, and then elevating this picture. So they've got a database of what people like to look at. They like to look at hedgehogs made out of cantaloupe or whatever the heck that is, right?
Right.
They like samurai. In fact, the Niji thing, you can actually prompt / Niji, and the reason why that is, so you can take these pictures and you can make them, and it's a playground, and you can go in here and grab this burger that you think is great. There it is. You can look at the
So
prompt. So
so
use
here's
this
ano
to learn how to do it.
so this whole presentation always, keeps giving me new ideas that keep bubbling up. So, one of them is, I love the groups that, I'm part of as well as run on Facebook,
Mhm.
and there's some great work being shared, and then but there's also some very good questions, and one question that came up was, um, and I'm gonna kinda put my spin on it, my own interpretation, but
Right.
if the algorithm or the engine behind this is constantly learning and it has such a huge database of images, how come when certain people put in a prompt that's very detailed saying like full bodied and it doesn't give them a full body? Like why does the
Yeah.
AI app restrict them?
Right. This is so there's a ton. What I would do is go on YouTube. I literally spend 6 hours a day watching YouTube. I don't watch TV anymore. Forget about that. It's a waste of my
Right.
time.
Sure.
And there are three things that Midjourney is working on right now. One is consistent character development. So storyboard artist, in fact, a friend of mine, he's done 5 major motion pictures, and he's getting in production on one right now. He
Right.
normally takes about he does a storyboard about 600 storyboards by hand. He makes these large, right, and prints them out. He's been using Midjourney for all of his work. The trick that he had is having consistent character development. So he's had to use Christopher Nolan, a certain Airflex camera, like all these technical terms that he knows about because he's a professional at doing that. I know what a wide angle lens will do. I know that the distance you need to be away. I know I want a Miami screen in the background. I know I wanted sailboats on the ocean. So I know I wanted
So
long red
you
hair.
know how to be descriptive to get the image you want.
Exactly. So you have to be what I call a synesthete. And look up that word if you've never heard of it before. A synesthete is someone who can look at words and see images, that can look at images and see words, who can hear
And
music and hear colors, see
and,
colors.
and can I give a suggestion to people
Yeah.
who are watching? And I think you'll agree with this as well. But if you are jumping around like the different groups and you notice that people are sharing prompts, if you look at that prompt and you like the look or the style, don't think like, oh, that's not for me because it's not my type of imagery. If you like an aspect of it, you can always, if they're sharing a prompt, you can always grab that prompt and then tweak it with your kind of imagery. So
That's
that's
it.
what I tend to do is I will
That's
see a
it.
style I like, but the image is like not my vocabulary, I guess you could say. And then I'll go in and put my kind of theme or topic, you know.
Okay. So that's why I'm back at midlibrary.io, because this is where you learn where this stuff. So basically, Andriy Kavez, I'm sorry, butchered his name.
I thought you
He's
were saying my name in a weird way. I'm like, what?
Andrei Kavalev.
I think it's Andrei Kovalev.
Kovalev. There you go. Amazing guy. He's hilarious too. Check out his stuff. But basically, he has identified every single word in Midjourney, literally every single style. So if you want to find out a style about Ukrainian folk art down to cameo, these are the magic words. This is the magic sauce. I've just given you the keys
So
to the
John
kingdom.
says, now we know Andrew's secret.
I'm out of a job, right? I'm out of a job, right? So I come down here, Pierre Jacques Petelier, right? So you come there and you take a look at this artist. You happen to like that work. It then gives you an entire thing about this, urban, moody, detailed. And if you just put the word in there, that's all they did here is you just copy this word right here and you put it in, you're going to get a bunch of images that look like this in Midjourney. I'm going to go over here and pop that into Midjourney while we're waiting here.
But I do think that the beauty is, you know, the people that stand out in my groups and the groups I follow. I do think it's the ones who
Yeah.
have a true kind of
Now
vision.
we're getting to the real big juicy part, and this is it. This is your takeaway for the day, I promise you. On my Facebook page, I just wrote about this. John Sirkowski, the Museum of Modern Art director, said, photography is pointing. And my professor at University of Florida, Jerry Uelsman, a very famous black and white photographer, used 10 enlargers to put together surreal image landscapes, right?
I have a
So
book of
moved
his.
by him, right? So he said, the most difficult thing about the digital age is the possibilities. And the best thing about the digital age is the possibilities. So it is that as an artist, you have all of this to choose from, the entire oeuvre of all art in all history as a starting point. But now what the hell are you going to do with it? You've
Right.
got a Lamborghini in your driveway. What do you have it for? You have a Stradivarius violin. Make some music, spend your time, invest your 10,000 hours. If you want to do this professionally, do it for that. If you want to do it for fun, do it for that. And I think that in all times you will realize every artist did it because they loved it. I love this word ikigai. I'm going to give you a bunch of words today to walk away with. Synesthesia, ikigai, look it up. It says, find purpose for your life and then spend your life doing that purpose and do for others.
Nice.
And that's ikigai. So namaste, ikigai, and synesthesia are the 3 words I want you to write down, go look them up, and then put into chat GPT, what do they really mean and how can they affect my life? There's a prompt for you that will change the way you do your life.
Nice.
If your purpose in life is to go be an engineer and build buildings, then do it. And then if your passion of life is to come at home and do Mid-Journey, then do it. We're getting to a point where AGI will take over our jobs and we will be able to live and do what we want to do with our life. Imagine given that choice.
And I would say that the best way that any individual can, blossom with this kind of new artistic format is just be honest with what you want to show the world. So for me, I love dreamy imagery and surrealism. So those are the themes I go to, and those resonate with my audience. But if you like
That's it.
making very pretty pictures, then that's what you should focus on, and then study the different prompts that give you that example. So,
Yeah.
and then we got some funny
Yeah.
comments coming in. So wanted to,
Good.
CA Art says, I imagine AI art as an infinite kaleidoscope. You can zoom in on whatever you want if you know a secret code.
Yeah, well, this is the secret code right here. I just gave away the codex to the entire planet right here. So Sandro Botticelli, which you might know from this very famous Renaissance painting, right, of the birth of Venus
Right.
in 1485, is if you put his name in there, you're going to get, his name, I guess, Sandro. Yeah. And then if you come here, you're going to see one of the greatest painters of the Florentine Renaissance. Italian fast dictator Mussolini, why only a fraction of this great master's works have survived time? So here's your chance to relive that experience and make images in his honor. If you want to do that, right? Figure out what you want to do. Every artist has an artist statement, and their statement basically is to kind of say, here's my purpose and here's why, right? And I think every human being needs to decide that for themselves. And I think this whole journey, this Mid-Journey for me, a midlife crisis where I got divorced after 27 years, right? And I reinvented myself. I'm becoming a more powerful person. And all that AI is the most powerful multiplier for whatever the hell you want to do. In fact, if you want to be a great writer, sit down and ask ChatGPT to pretend it is Shakespeare and ask for advice.
Sweet.
So it will act as if it's Shakespeare. In fact, there's going to be an app coming out soon. There's one called Character AI. You can download it on your phone where you can actually have a conversation with famous people throughout time.
Nice.
Because they've created their knowledge base in a small language model that then you can talk to using artificial intelligence. So if you're a famous architect, talk to the famous architects,
So you got a nice compliment from Jennings Ford. I'm loving this presentation. The best.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And all the love I really appreciate. And what I'm going to ask you to do is create an experience for someone that you love today. Think about all of life is experience design. I don't think of myself as a graphic designer anymore. I design experiences for other human beings. My job is to design an experience for you that makes you happier, that makes you go out and not kick the dog, but to kiss your wife or to hug your children or to pet your cat and dog. Is if we all act as positive agents of change in the world, we will, by our actions, change the world. It's the crazy ones, as Steve Jobs says, right? It's the crazy ones that think they can change the world because they do. And certainly if you look in your pocket and you've got an iPhone, you have to thank the bloody planet that Steve Jobs was born, an orphan, and that he put to work a planet-worthy set of people to make the most wonderful, empowering product, your phone, enhanced by the internet and now enhanced by AI. The next thing is going to be your phone is going to be the AI 24/7. And when you're sad at night because you just had to bury your dog or put him to sleep, it's going to be the shoulder that you're going to talk to get you through that time when you don't have anybody else at 4:00 in the morning.
Right. So John kind of took the words out of my mouth. So I'm just going to Rick, can you please post some links on your social, if not already? And sorry if you already did. So I wanted to just give a shout out to where you can get in touch with Rick as well as me on social. And I also wanted to remind people that when you do reach out to Rick at bit.ly/m/Rick McCawley, Rick is also open for consultation or tutoring or teaching about this. So he can take you through and help you understand this for your own imagery. Right, Rick?
Yeah, and I spend 90% of my time on Facebook, and this bit.ly link will also take you to, if you're an educator by chance, I've created a Facebook page just about AI for EDU. So it's AI EDU. Please follow there and like. I'd love to get more people commenting. Literally every new tool that is good for ChatGPT or any kind of AI, I post it there, about 7 or 8 per day. And I've been doing it for a while. So you've got about 1,000 pages of rules to go through. On my Rick McCawley Facebook, I would love for you to follow that as well. I am doing national speeches now. So I'm really looking for large stages. I just went to convention for the Advertising Federation of America. I'm doing the AIGA coming up, the city of Fort Lauderdale. I'm working with them. We're actually going to educate every person in the city of Fort Lauderdale, from the sanitation worker on up to the mayor, about AI and how it can enhance all of their jobs. I do believe, and my job at Broward College is to take every single educator and let them know the possibilities of what they can do with this in their classrooms, and to realign them with the humanity of teaching, and actually guiding students to learn. So I have this learn, adapt, and innovate mantra that I go through, where I want you all to learn about what this is and really understand it and not be yelling at people for using it. It's not stealing any artist's work. It's not. Human beings steal people's work. AI does not. But if you use it that way, you're an evil human being. The AI is not. So instead of thinking of it that way, think of it the positive. It's going to cure cancer. It's already the reason why we don't have masks on when we're in public, because it took 6 weeks for AI to figure that out. It would have taken 7 years for human beings alone to do it without the assistance. So if you think you don't owe something to AI, your literal breath right now you owe to AI. Alzheimer's drugs. I have type 2 diabetes. I've injected myself with a drug that was developed with exactly that, and I've lost 40 pounds. So imagine what else we can do. Protein folding. That took a year for it to do. It would have taken 100 million years for human beings to identify and be able to describe the hundreds of millions of proteins in the human body. And then they went on and did it for the entire animal kingdom. So now they can do designer drugs in without even hurting anybody.
So let me swing back around. So once again, you can contact Rick at bit.ly at m.
Are you showing my screen still?
No, I'm showing. I can show it now. Yeah.
Oops, sorry. I just took it down. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. And then also, I myself do Photoshop and Lightroom tutoring. So I take the AI images and then take it into Photoshop, where I do various different things. So if you're interested in that, for Photoshop and Lightroom tutoring lessons, drewcav.com/learn-Photoshop. And then in general, and this is also where the recording link is going to be, is you can subscribe for more AI art, digital art focused live streams and tutorials on my YouTube at youtube.com/digitalartdrew. That's youtube.com digitalartdrew. And if you didn't get it, that's Digital Art Drew on YouTube. And come follow and like my digital artist Andrew Kavanagh page on Facebook, facebook.com/digitalartistdrew. If you are not already in it, please come join my Photoshop and Lightroom group. It just passed 370,000 members.
Wow.
Facebook.com/groups, Photoshop Lightroom group. And the AI art and digital art group at facebook.com/groups, AI art, digital art, which just passed, I believe, 34,000 members. And yeah, so do come join those groups to follow us. Check out our links. And John says, thanks, gents. Jack says, cool. Thank you, Rick. Barbara asks, are you doing Podfest this year?
Oh,
no.
Invite me. I will.
Yeah, we'll have to get more information about that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, reach out, folks. And I really want to give a great thank you to Andrew. Oh my God. Not only did he introduce me to this whole ambassador and community expert program and brought me here on StreamYard and everything else, he's just been really pivotal because I want my voice to spread. I want the voice of goodness and kindness and being kind to others and being of service. And I think Andrew is aligned with me in that feeling that we all want to help imagination soar. We want you to feel like you're a human and look what you can do. And I want you to be amazed every day with how beautiful our world is and how we can celebrate it through making images and support each other, especially artists who are really nervous right now. They're scared, because they've already been hit by the other waves of the internet where their works have been copied and thrown away and everything else. And you know what? You could do a kindness and go to an art fair and buy some work from a local artist, just like you go to a local restaurant and buy food
local artists
and pay cash to tip at every restaurant, please. That way the money doesn't get taken away from this. And, ask to not bag your groceries at checkout. All these things are really, positive things you can do. So imagine what you can do, and namaste to you all. Thank you, Andrew.
Right. And once again, come and join the AI Art and Digital Art group, facebook.com/groups, AI Art Digital Art, or just search for AI Art Digital Art. And Rick is also a moderator or admin of that group and post, and I'm getting him to post more often too. So
yeah, and I'm going to be posting a bunch of stuff there. So not only can you follow me there, but here's what I'd love you to do. If you have positive feedback on this broadcast and you'd like to share it, share the heck out of it. Let's get this blown up. I want to see Andrew's page go to 1 million YouTube subscribers, right?
YouTube, yeah, that'd be great. And
then
YouTube,
let us know what you want to hear about next. There's tons of content that I'm more than happy to generate. I'm sure Andrew will work with me, and maybe we can make this a regular thing. If you want to make it regular, please let me know. Oh, hey, Jeffrey, how you doing? He worked with me at the Miami Herald. Just talked to him this morning. Thanks for joining.
Or is it Jeffrey there? Yep. Very inspiring and informative. Big thanks to both of you. Cheers and happy holidays. And so on that note, I wanted to say thanks everyone for being here and have a wonderful, happy new year. So, and as Rick said, when you see the link to the recording that I post in the groups and on social, and Rick will be posting, please do not only watch that yourself, but please share that with your friends.
Yes.
And get me some watch time hours on my YouTube. It seems to be
there you go.
Stubborn.
Yeah.
Hi. But yeah, thanks everybody. It was great. And me and Rick will be doing plenty of these live events in 2024.
All right. Tell me what you'd like to see on the pages too. And namaste. Imagine what you can do today.
Happy New Year, says everyone. Thank you. Great webinar. Fabulous presentation. A must watch. Thank you. Excellent. Thanks, everybody.